Alright, hi, I'm Aaron Heiser, Maker's Leather Supply, and this video we're going to unbox the Class 26 Cobra sewing machine from the Leather Machine Company. Making this video because there are currently no videos on the 26 that are available yet. And when we sell one of these and it gets shipped to someone's place, we get a lot of phone calls about, okay, how do I put this thing together? It's really simple, but I can understand that, you know, if it's your first time to put one of these together, then it can get confusing. So we're going to make this little video. Right now the machine is pretty much as it comes on the pallet. I took it off the pallet. I put the wheels on the pedestal of the machine. But other than that, I haven't done anything. I have to do that just to get it in the front door because the pallets don't fit through my door. So what we're going to do is we will start by opening the box here. I'm going to have to kind of angle the camera to where it's over the floor so that you can see what I'm going to do. All the way down to, I'm even going to help you out with trying to get it out of the box without tearing up the box, because it is smart to save the box. In case you have a problem with the machine later, you can use it to send the machine back to the Leather Machine Company for warranty repair. So, how I have done it, I'm going to put this down on the floor and then I'll adjust the camera angle. There we go. So how I open these boxes, I'll go ahead and cut the tape open and everything, of course. Alright, as soon as you open it, there's another box right inside. This is just your accessories and extras and things like that. I'm just going to set this box aside for now. Now, to get this big heavy machine out of this box without having to cut it open, what I've found that works best is I'll fold the flaps back and I'll lay it gently onto its side. And then I'll just pick up the back end of it slowly and let it just slide down there. There we go. It's now on the floor. So I can pull the box right off and get it out of the way. Now I'll cut the styrofoam and then I'll just lay the styrofoam, or I'll cut the tape on the styrofoam and just lay the styrofoam down on its side, and then we can get to the machine. So there she is in all her glory. We didn't have to tear up the box or anything like that. And it's now ready to be pulled out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to readjust the camera angle so that I can pick up the machine and put it on the table. All right. Worst molds in the world. That's all that styrofoam. All right. I just lifted it out of the box and out of the styrofoam, and I picked up, took the plastic off of it. Now I'm going to pick it up and put it on the table. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to lock the wheels on this table to ensure it's not going to roll out from under me as soon as I get over to it. Right now you're thinking to yourself, I bet that was an experience thing. And you're right. Okay. So I brought the machine over to the table. The table has quite a few holes drilled in it for other accessories and things like that. Right here in the front, it's got 2 larger holes, and in the back, it's got 2 matching larger holes. And just inside of that is 4 smaller holes. And those are the ones you're going to want to try to line your machine up with. Okay? We're not going to bolt this machine down yet. Luckily, unlike the Class 4, this one balances on its feet. The Class 4 is long enough that we have to hold the other end of it and have a buddy help us out. All right, so we're going to open the accessories box, and I'll show you the easiest method I've found to put these together. right, we'll go over the contents of our accessories box real quick. We have our LED light here. This is our bobbin winder right here. The belt for the machine. I call this the oil pan. I'm not really sure what the technical term is for it, but that's what I call it. All right, we have a bag full of small parts, needles, things like that. Okay. This right here is the light for the plug for the LED light. I'll go ahead and take it out of the package so it's easier to see. We'll go over that in depth and get a close up and everything soon. The other thing you want to pull out of here is this little chain that's in a baggie. That's going to be your chain that's going to go to your presser foot. And then also it'll have an S-hook inside there as well. The only other thing you need to pull out of that baggie at this point is the 4 mounting screws for the machine head. Alright, so there it is. There's the 4 mounting screws. They're just long screws with a Phillips head and a nut and a washer on each of them. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and push this chair out of the way here. Now, before I can mount this machine, I need to do a couple of things. I go ahead and attach the chain inside of it and attach the belt before I actually mount this thing, mount it down, because again, that's the easiest way I found to do it, and I'm trying to show you the easiest way, not the hardest way. Okay, so it can get a little tricky, but we have to mount the presser foot chain. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and cut this thread stand off the bottom of here. It's just got a. We'll get that thread stand in a little bit and mount it. Anyway, we're gonna get the chain and mount it from the pedal up to the head, but it mounts inside the head. So you have to unscrew this giant wing nut here and let that little latch fall over, and then gently and carefully lean your machine back. Okay. It's not going to balance itself very well, so keep a hand on it, or have a friend. If I had any friends, I'd do it, but just me, because Jenny's at work. Richard's over there, but he's working on his stuff. So, there's a little black S-hook right here in the bottom of the machine. You're just going to connect your chain to it. It is going to take a little bit of pressure to get it on there, but it'll go on there. Sorry, my hands are all oily, so it's hard now to grip anything. Normally I can pop one of these right on, but since the camera is filming this, it's not happening. There we go. Got it on there. Okay. Now I'm going to lift up the top part of the head here so I can slide the machine back where it belongs. And then I'm going to put the chain. When the machine mounts up with its mounting holes, you're going to see a small hole right in the corner where that chain is going to be able to fall down. Oh, I wish I could get you a better view of it, but if you're looking at one, you'll see it. So there it is. There's the chain. Now I'm going to take my oil pan and I'm going to put it inside there. There's a little cutout area there where the chain would go beside it. and I'll just drop it right there. Close the machine back up, and now we're ready to mount the belt. We'll just leave that chain dangling for now. All right, mounting the belt. There's a couple of ways to do it. This is the way that I can do it. Vince from Leather Machine Company, that dude will just snap a belt right on there. And I don't know how. Maybe I just don't have his ridiculous strength or something. But I have to finagle it a little bit. So before I mount the head to the table, I go ahead and put the belt on that top, the hand wheel there, and then I get it ready to put onto that smallest pulley down on the bottom. Okay, let me get the camera a little bit closer to that so you can see, and then I'll put it back up for while I actually do this. I'm so sorry. So anyway, that smallest pulley down there is where that belt's going to end up. Okay, all right, put you back up right here. Sorry, this is not a Hollywood studio. This is my shop with a silly webcam on a tripod. So, to get the belt onto the machine, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to lift this end of it. And that's going to give me just enough room that I can pop that onto that bottom pulley down there, and then I can let it go. Now the belt's on there. Now we can mount the head to the table. Okay, so 4 screws. You're going to put the screw into the little mounting hole on the foot there. The washer and nut will go on the bottom just underneath the table. For now, I'm just going to kind of snug these down. I will come back later and tighten them, but you get the idea. You don't want to go just crazy tight because you'll just suck that nut and washer right up into that wooden table. But you do want to get it pretty snug. You don't want it to work its way loose on you. When I'm putting these in, I'll usually do 2 corners first, and like the front of one side and the back of the other. That way I can have it nice and positioned. There we go. This back corner is the most difficult one just because it's there's that hinge where the machine folds is right there. You just have to kind of find its sweet spot and get it in there. And again, I'm going to tighten these later, but for now I'm just snugging them up so that I can get on with the video and you don't have to sit here and watch me work a wrench for the next hour. Last one's the one in this front corner right here. All right, so the head is now mounted to the machine. We have the chain drop down for the presser foot lifter, and we have the belt on it. So I'm going to angle the camera down here, and I'm going to show you how I attach the chain to the presser foot pedal. On the pedal, you already have a little S-hook here. What I do is I run the chain through the S-hook. When I say through it, I don't connect the S-hook to any certain link. I just run it through it. I grab one of the S-hooks that came with the chain in the little bag, and I connect one end to the end of the chain, and then I pull the other one end up, and I just bring it up as high as I can on the chain and hook it back to itself. And that's how I do it. There's a bunch of different ways. You could cut the chain just the right length to go from up here to down there, but this is how I do it because it leaves more chain on there, which I haven't found a reason that I'd need more chain on there, but it's just how I've always done it, and I don't like changing things. So, I'm going to take these other two little SX off the table and put them in there for later. They're just extras. We don't necessarily need them for anything. Okay, so now we will go over putting on the LED lights. And this part is going to, anybody that's putting together a Cobra, this is a confusing thing for some. So, I'm going to go ahead and get the cord released here. And I'm going to do my best. Actually, I'll go ahead and swing this thing around so we can see where this is mounting. It's going to mount, there's two holes right back here. The larger one's going to be for the thread stand, and the smaller one is going to be for this. I don't know if that helps the level of light here. Not that much. So yeah, the larger one's for the thread stand, and the smaller one's for the light. Okay. We're going to remove the nut and one of the washers from the bottom of the light here. There goes the nut and one of the two washers. Now, I have to take this cord and run it down through that smaller of the two holes back there. Okay, and then I need to reach under there and grab it. Just the power cord's in the way. There we go. All right. So there it is, and then you can't see the top of the machine, but I just take and flop it right over the top because when it's in use, it's going to be about right there anyway. And then that'll just hold on to it so that I can run the nut and washer back up the cord. So you got to put the washer back on the cord, then you got to put the nut back on the cord, run them up to the base of the light, and screw them back together. That holds your light onto your table. It's kind of a long-winded screw. It's a very fine thread, so it takes a minute to get it all the way up there, but we'll get it. All right, and again, I'll go back with a wrench later and tighten that up. Now, for this next part, I'm going to try to lower this camera so that you can see under the table with me and see what we're doing. I apologize for shaking the camera up while we're working here, but I want you to see it. That's not quite going to be low enough. We'll release one more foot here. Sorry. Okay. Now, we've got to where we can kind of see up under the table here. You can even lower it some more using this part. Tripods are not my thing. Alrighty then. And I'm going to remove that drawer so that you can see what I'm doing down here. Okay, so what we have to grab is our little end of our light here. Okay, and then this is the cord that came off of that light. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap the light cord around some of the existing wiring down there. Don't pull a little hard. That wiring's stapled up there and you don't want to pull it off. But we're just going to wrap it around it a couple of times so that it's up and out of the way of the belt and the motor and all those mechanisms. Okay? We'll continue doing this towards the front of the machine. The goal is to get the cord to where the power supply or the power switch is for the machine. Okay? So, what most folks don't realize, and I didn't either for the longest time, that is a plug right there in the back of your power switch. And that's why we're getting this cord up there so that we can have this light plug into the back of your power switch. That way when you turn on the machine, the light comes on, and when you turn off the machine, the light goes off, and you don't need a separate plug in your wall for just the light. Okay, this wire is pretty soft, so we can do this with just a pair of good scissors. But I'm just going to cut the wire off. I'm leaving it long enough that I can still put the head of the wire on it and still have it plug in right here. To build, I'll show you with a spare piece of wire here. Okay, so when this thing comes, it's together like this, all right? And you slide that off. You put your wire down into that little hole to hold it there. Press the wire against the sharp prongs, and then you push your cover back on. All right. So we'll do that with the actual wire now. Again, I'm going to push it into the hole, push it down into the prongs, and then put the cover on it. And then I'm just going to reach up here and plug it into the back of my power switch. And there you go. Your light is assembled and put onto the machine. The next thing is going to be the thread stand. I'm going to get I need to get the tripod back up for it. Okay. Good to go. All right, let me angle the camera right again. All right, now we're going to put the thread stand on the machine. Okay, real simple. The thread stand has 2 washers, a lock washer, and a nut on it. And a tiny little metal shard that just went into my finger. Always a good time. Janie, I need you. Okay, so we're going to take the nut, the lock washer, and one of the washers off. We're going to put it down into that back hole there. That's the only one on the table that it should fit in. Okay, and then we're going to put the washer on first, then the lock washer, then the nut. There we go. Got her started. All right, again, I'm going to tighten this up with a wrench later, but for all intents and purposes, it's mounted. Okay, you want it kind of facing parallel with your machine. The other thing, this is the motor plug. You want to plug that into, there's an obvious place where it goes right there. I usually do that kind of last so that I don't walk around it and accidentally bump into it and mess it up. Okay, next we're going to put the bobbin winder on the side of the machine. And the screws for that are back in your little accessory packet. They're usually stuck to the back of this magnet, but I don't see them. Here they are. Okay. For this, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. I'm using just a regular Phillips today. I'm not going to use a power drill because I want you to see that it can easily be done with just a standard screwdriver if that's all you have available to you. Of course, they are childproof and I can't get them out of the bag. So, just a regular old standard Phillips screwdriver. Now, proper placement of this. Okay, the bobbin winder, it's engaged, it's not engaged. Okay, see that tiny bit of movement? You need to make sure it's not engaged. It's in its rearmost position. Okay, and then you'll see 2 tiny, tiny little pinholes drilled into your table for you, right where my fingers are. Okay, so take your bobbin winder. It has slots for the screws, and just kind of line up the center of the slots with those screw holes, and then put your screws in it. Again, a power tool makes this a tiny bit easier, but I just wanted to prove that it can easily be done with just a screwdriver. All right, now to just make sure it's placed in the right place, when I go to engage it, it needs to put a little bit of pressure on your belt. And this one did, so it's good to go. That's it, guys. That is putting together a Class 26 sewing machine out of the box. We're going to do another video later on a little bit of maintenance of it and threading and things like that. I hope to get that video out today, but I don't know. I mean, it would make sense considering this machine's sitting in front of me right now. Again, Aaron Heiser, Maker's Leather Supply. This is a Cobra Class 26 sewing machine from the Leather Machine Company. It is a lightweight cylinder arm sewing machine. This is absolutely my favorite machine they make. If you're ever in the market for one, give us a call. Thanks. Have a good day.